So we're going to go on to our next keynote speaker. Please do welcome Professor Laura Grunberg from the University of Bucharest to discuss Romanian gender context and the disadvantage for gender equality plans.
Hello to everybody. Thank you for thank you for the invitation. As all the other speakers have said, so I'm very glad to be here. So I'm coming from University of Bucharest, the larger one in Romania, 160 years old. A university where things are moving on, and I would like to very briefly mention, my intention for this presentation was to, especially for the foreigners, for our foreigner friends, to put Romania and higher education and the university somehow in a context in order to understand better what is happening here, but just a general picture, of course, just snapshots or different things that I'm aware of, being in Romania, being part of the women movement, also teaching gender studies. So let's say as a connoisseur, more or less, yes. And on the second part of my presentation, really to share with you, again, on a very general level, not entering into details, as have done the experts before with much more experience in doing gender equality plans. We have implemented at the University of Bucharest the first cycle of a gender equality plan, part of a Horizon project called Athena. So I will just make some comments and some initial challenges and some future challenges that I foreseen, let's say, for the next period. So very briefly about, how to place, it's basic. It's like, I'm like a professor now, yes. If you want to understand what is happening in Romania, in Czech Republic, and Netherlands, and everywhere, cultural differences, historical and political different contexts. So you need to see the gender dimension in higher education, looking at the education system in general in Romania, looking at the national context, regional context, European context, global context, really contextualizing everything in terms of discussion. I think it's very important, and it's very simple what I'm saying. Again, I'm not going in much more details. Yes, we are now all dealing with and try to do a lot of things in area of gender equality today in 2024, yes, where I speak for Romania. We have a war next door, yes, maybe for Romania it's much more relevant than for others. Why it's relevant? Where Romania now is increasing the budget for defense and buying Patriots and guns, and our budget for education, which is extremely low in general, now will be in a very bad situation. So when we are very critical, the experts, let's say, about what is happening in gender equality area, but let's think about the fact that we should do some work in 2024 under the conditions that we are very much aware, in the context of a global, very complicated election period. I'm not detailing. In Romania, we have a very complicated election period, 4 type of election in the same year, and it's not in our advantage. Although you can say, being an election period, everybody will put emphasis on promoting women and so on. It's not the case, at least for Romania. Gender backlash, we are all witnessing, I'm sure, in your countries. Romania is in the same situation, maybe not so worse as some years ago when we have a referendum for traditional family. Lucky us, it was a failure, but it was a very complicated moment, also with a very strong resistance and idea of banning gender studies from the universities as non-science and so on. Populist, conservative parties also in Romania as in other parts. So I'm not detailing woke culture, politically correctness, all these things that are part of the global discourses are also affecting the climate in Romania. And of course, the general data showing progress, but in a very slow rate. This is a context for all us. For Romania, we have quite challenges with this. If we put Romania in the European context, of course, we have to mention the European Institute, the index, yes? And again, in terms of figures, we are not in a good position. And I put here the knowledge I emphasize because it's about education. Quite curiously, we stay even worse if we compare with the European average in terms of knowledge. And if you see, quite not at all in a good position in terms of power. We are not at all good in promoting women in politics and in decision positions. So, from this point of view, data is showing that Romania needs a lot of work to do. Paradoxically, gender backlash, resistance to gender equality and things like that. In this kind of Romania, we need to work, yes? If we put Romania on a national context, what I want to tell you is that I would say we have good, reliable data. It is a need for more, definitely. But let's be positive, and if we compare with a couple of years ago, we have now a new gender barometer, a general one. We have barometer on domestic violence. We have barometer on inequalities, economic inequalities, on political representation. And I'm just mentioning some of the very recent studies, you know, reliable, data-driven research. But we have a lot of books. We have a lot of PhD students, you know, PhD thesis dealing with gender studies in general. We have a collection, gender studies at a prestigious printing house. Things are moving in terms of knowledge-based. So, based on this kind of data existing, I would say, you know, just for the general idea, yeah, but I cannot, okay, but I cannot move because I don't know why. Can I move? No. So please, okay, I will. I tried. I tried here. It's my personal. It's nothing very, very scientific here. Again, for the foreigners, I think they could understand a little bit more about who we are as Romanians. Yes. So this is why I put this. You know, in terms of normative framework, you know. You already heard about. We have a law on equal opportunities. We have an agency for national equal opportunities between women and men. We have a council for discrimination. The president presented it. The senator was here with a commission of Romania, and maybe some other. It's a cultural. Is very good in creating institutions, in creating laws. We have a say in Romania. The laws, the institute are made, the Romanians can continue. Roxana, help me. Legile sunt făcute not to be respected, yeah? So the Romanians, if it's red on the semaphore, traffic line, the Romanians are ignoring it. But they have the red line, you know? This is, you know, I'm not critical. This is how we are. But in this sense, if it is a problem in Romania, we create a law. We create a commission. We create, because, well, we will not respect them, you know? This is our charm. I'm joking. It's a specificity. We have to deal with this. And I'm sure it's not only Romanians, yes? So this is why I put here downsides. Yes, it's very good that we have very good law on domestic violence. We have a law that now mentioned that all public institutions should have gender equality plans. I mean, very good. We have very good institutions, yes, as Anes was presented and so on. Unfortunately, sometimes they are really not functioning because of the mentality, cultural background and things like that. So understand a little bit that when you judge Romania or when we as Romanian are very critical. we have a very good, a much better women movement. And I would say it's much on the beneficial part, yes. I mentioned only the Coalition for Gender Equality because it's a big coalition. But there are women NGOs fighting a little bit between them, intergenerational conflicts. I could be also critical, you know, but it's much, much better than before, and they are visible, they do things, I mean, very good. Politics, it's only, in my opinion, at this moment with downsized effects. I don't see any kind of support in terms of what is happening in politics. The Me Too movement, you know, moment in Romania, you heard, we now have this kind of big scandals. It is good in the sense that maybe this could open a public debate, pushing things, but as was mentioned, if it's taken by the media only in terms of scandal, if it's taken by the Facebook only in terms of old generation of feminists fighting with the new generation and blaming a feminist from the old generation about what is happening now in a university, you the foreigners do not understand, but the Romanians here maybe know what I'm talking about. Again, you know, in terms of culture of evidence, I would say it's plus. As I mentioned, quite a lot of things are really trying to develop in terms of reliable statistic, reliable data, yes, talking based on a database frame. In terms of education and education sector, as I said, a lot of things also are happening. 37 plans of gender equality in higher education institutions. It's a good sign, yes. Researchers, 2 programs of gender studies in Bucharest, yes, MA programs, good sign, yes. But on the other hand, the whole sector is extremely underfinanced. And this, you know, without budget, it's very hard to imagine that really consistent, sustainable things will happen. And maybe I anticipate what I would like to say in the last part. Okay, we are doing gender equality plan at the University of Bucharest because of the Horizon and of the Athena project, with good and bads, you can evaluate us and so on. They need to continue. And one big problem from my perspective is sustainability. How this will happen in the future when we will not have, and we will not have, they will end next year. Will the university support us? Will the university will not support us because they don't want and they are very conservative, or because they are under budgetary restraints and there are a lot of other things to be done, you know? I'm just questioning. So this is an issue. So this maybe give you somehow a general idea about us in different sectors. Also, at national level, I don't want to bother with figures and statistics. I said there are reliable data. I will just mention something that I was really involved. I was coordinator of the latest gender barometer in Romania. It was one in 2000, and we didn't succeed in having another one then in 2018. Not good, but anyhow, after 18 years, we could have a comparison. And I was involved in this barometer with all the methodological components done by a reliable research institute, yes, so you can trust the data. And what was from my perspective, and maybe interesting here, the main result, an important result, was comparing with 2000, when it was, I said here, monophonic Romania, one voice, quite conservative Romania in terms of gender roles. Now you can see the dynamics. Now you can see the change. Now you can see diverse perceptions concerning gender roles and relations. Yeah, now yes, a conservative community, but also quite a visible community of people wondering if, yeah, maybe women should be much more in power. Maybe they should stay at home. They are better in mothering and taking care of the children, but I don't have anything against with women being president. Big change if you compare to 2000, where they didn't think about women as president, you know. Contradiction, inconsistency, unclear perceptions, fluctuation. We call it in our barometer frozen community and undecisive, melting, progressive defrost, timid unfreeze. And we can prove, you know, that there are islands like that. And I will try to say it's a good sign, but it depends where we will go. Maybe it will be, again, if the conservative, populist, sovereignist, we have sovereignist movement here, will win, maybe we'll turn back to what was before. It depends on a lot of issues, also on what we do as in our capacity as people involved in gender equality. So this is really a polyphonic Romania. I give you just two extracts, two examples from the barometer. Both parents should take care of raising children. I don't know the figures, you know, quite a lot. But in the same time, men are not as able as women to raise children. This is a new type of Romania. But I see it in a positive way. You know, it's a first step. And I can give you figures. Or gender discrimination is no more a problem in Romania, really, you know, because we put these kind of tricky questions. But gender discrimination, in fact, exists in other part of the questionnaire. So in this sense, there are a lot of, you know, mixed perceptions. As I told you, Romania on the bottom index of the European Institute, yes, with figures showing this. And the general perception is that really gender equality policies are no more a priority. And we are not the only one in terms of gender barometer. Some other barometers are showing also polyphonic Romania, yes? I took just an example of a barometer from Responsible Romania, looking at how, you know, Responsible Romania, meaning also people being active, being committed, willing to change, being open to change, and so on. And, you know, 30%, they are what they call the vanguardist of inclusion. Well, maybe for you, the Europeans with long tradition, only 30. I try to see the bottle, the full part of the, 30% we can work with. I try to be positive, I try. Yes, so it's not only research on from the gender perspective, but in general, it seems Romania is moving. And I anticipated already what I wanted to say now, you know, so what? Okay, quite a diverse perceptions about gender in Romania. I hope it will be the second type of process in the future, yes? So we will benefit as society from this kind of unfreezing moment. And the ones more open, more willing to change, less conservative, will be more and more, and this will be the ground for really doing and more consistent gender equality policies. Otherwise, if we return to the conservative, but let's not think about this. It will be a nightmare, yes? Depend on us on September, on October and November and December, what we'll choose. The change, yes. So this is, you know, I don't know how much I was able to make you a more clear picture of where are you in Romania. So in this context, at the University of Bucharest, we won part of the consortium. We've been partner in a Athena project, and due to Athena project, we were able to develop the first gender equality plan. And I was responsible, let's say, in creating the team, and so I witnessed the whole process. So this kind of plan was from 2022 till 2024. We obtained prolongation as a consortium. So it will finish in mid next year, because we want to do a good final monitoring comparative report, because we want to produce some academic papers based on what we've done, and each of us have some things that we would like to do in more, not in a hurry, yes? And the European, they accepted us. And of course, the fact that, at least but for all the universities here, and not only here, because it was a compulsory requirement, I've done it, when I say it's the team, I've done it very easily. And again, I would say, very easily the University of Bucharest accepted, approved a plan for gender equality. It's the plus. Well, too easily accepted. I mean, no comments, no feedback. The team, we were very, well, how to do it? To put too much in the plan, to be too, strong, or to be diplomatic. We've been, I could have written everything I wanted in the plan. I have feedback from the who is administrative, yes. I'm not part of, they are the one who are, approving and I heard the rumors, this is a plan, that we should approve this, because otherwise you all who are doing projects, research projects, will not able, because it's a compulsory. And who is against? Who is for? Approved. Well, okay, but yeah. And I think it's the same in other, because it's compulsory, and we thank the commission that is compulsory. It's easy. Now they start to see what it means. Now they start to negotiate and so on. But this is how they start. This is part of the history, It's interesting. And I think probably the same here, or Roxana will, I don't know, it will be the same in other parts. This is our plan. We were very ambitious, and it was too much. We decided 5 areas where, not compulsory, but proposed, recommended. We said, let's take 8 areas, too much. One of my critics now is the next stage should be with less areas and more in depth, but enthusiasm in the beginning, yes? So we've done a little bit of things in all areas. I will tell you very briefly some of them. Some I think are good results. Again, for each I could also see the perverse effects, yes? So, we've done very nice international conference with bringing Barbara Risman, for example, in our conference. We had a very nice conference on excellence also for women in Romania. I don't know how in English. Excellence, and also at the feminine, yes, which was, I liked much more what is happening here than what was in the international conference. I'm pleased, for example, for what kind of out-of-box idea we had, together with a colleague of mine from the sociology, in this conference on excellence, and University of Bucharest, it's also, meritocracy and excellence are the keywords and so on. Excellence about women and their representation about women that should be represented, very nice. And we had the idea of talking about different type of excellence. Let's see how you react. And anyhow, we've done a survey, and we asked, and we had more than 500 replies from students. They were asking students from all faculties, what is the name of your librarian? What is the name of your cleaning lady in your faculty? What is the name of your portar? doorkeepers, the majority, vast majority are women, but you know. You guess the reply? 99% lady. And based on this, you know, funny survey, we said, well, an excellence in a university need a good librarian that deals with, you know, excellence in university needs that the university has good cleaning and, you know, everything and committed people and so on. And, you know, it was in an atmosphere of excellence and meritocracy. I think we should address also from various perspectives, and we want to continue and make profiles, not only with women professors with big impact factor that we have in our university, but also, you know, the one that make the best cook, is the best cook, make the best meals at the canteen. Thank you, Roxana. Sorry, yes. Why not? I mean, this is also excellence. At least this is my opinion, or I just wanted to see that, you know, talking about a nice experiment that I would like to do after what I heard about Luisa and how you know, Luisa in the campus, at campus, yes. We've done also something more out of the box, let's say. And also we have now opened, also because of Athena and some money, based on the conference, we open at the printing house of the University of Bucharest. It will be a special collection on interdisciplinary gender talks. And this is already the template, you know. It will be now in September or October, the proceedings from the conference. So we offer a place for doing gender research. I think it's on, we can be proud of this. We have done some other things that are half good things. We changed some strategic documents. Now every student who is entering the university or the new employees, they have to fill all kind of bureaucratic things and so on. We succeed in being approved an annexa where the student or the new employee should, I sign under, you know, under my signature, I say that I read the following strategic documents from the university: the Code of Ethics, the Charter of the University, the plan of Gender Equality Plan, and we prepared 3 types of modules, online modules, very basic for gender equality, for sexual harassment and inclusion, with quiz, you know, like this and so on. Yes, I would say, you know, it was not easy. But again, we've done it. But as I said, yes, now, of course, everybody will sign this. How many will read them? I'm teaching ethics at the university. We have all the MA students in the first year and all the PhD students from all the faculties in the first year have compulsory ethic course in the first semester. And I'm teaching this, and each year I'm asking them, they are already finishing, you know, who read the Code of Ethics? Again, so in this sense, questions for you, more Westerners, how you've done in order for these documents to be really read, considered important. Help us, I mean, we don't know, you know, we oblige them to sign. It doesn't work up to now. Okay. Again, good victory. We have the first institutional procedure for handling sexual harassment. We worked as a team with a Commission of Ethics. We brought an expert to explain how this could function. The procedure is not bad, is improvable. It has a very friendly way of, you know, you can also, on an anonymity basis, you know, put a complaint. Very easy to fill in. it offers also a gender expert is a must in the commission that deals with these cases. They are obliged to offer also counseling if necessary. It's quite good in terms, we have not invented anything. We copied what is good in. It was approved, but now we have 2 cases that have been going through the new procedure, and, well, I would say disaster. It doesn't work. I received an informal phone from somebody from the Commission of Ethics. Well, Laura, why are you sending, it's not me, why are you sending us cases of harassment in our commission? They should go to the police. I mean, what? And I said, but you are member of the Commission of Ethics. Have you read the Code of Ethics? Do you know that the Code of Ethics they deal with plagiarism. This is a wonderful subject in Romania. Important one. But nothing. So now we have in the next to propose a revisal. But again, the procedure is not bad. But why is not functioning? We brought an expert from outside to have a training course for the Ethics Commission. I think it's normal. The directorate asked us, so it was coming from, we've arranged this. This person came, and 2 persons from the commission showed up. You see, so here I don't have answers. I don't want to say maybe we have not done enough with whatever. Definitely something could be done also from the perspective of the gender committee. But something we don't know how to handle. Okay. We've been part of the working on the sustainability report. This is nice. They asked us to give feedback on the sustainability report. And with this occasion, because I worked for this, I found out that there are a lot of things happening at the University of Bucharest. A lot of projects or initiative in other faculties, but just by phoning or asking a friend who knows a friend, but it's not an collective, where are you? Collective agenda. You are, I'm looking at you, sorry. Collective agenda. Wonderful, yes? It's not a collective agenda. A lot of things are happening, but we do not. I was surprised that there are some other a European project, specifically dealing with gender issues. It's not a question that they should inform me or the gender equality plan, but somehow it will be very nice to have a collective agenda, to be, we are not very well collaborating, and probably we are with the MA, Master in Gender Studies in the university. There is not a good collaboration for, different reasons. Again, we don't have this culture of solidarity in terms of, the gender agenda is much more important than, some other issues. We've done a lot of promotion. We have done a lot of things that also could be considered as a success. What were our initial, I have just a couple of more slides. So what were our initial challenges? And what I'm listing here is based on our qualitative and quantitative research that we were obliged to do due to Athena concept. And this is, part of, it's very good to start a gender equality plan as part of a project funded by, because they give you some structure and they obliged you to do a state of affair in the beginning to compare with other partners and so on, and it was a questionnaire and it was a qualitative studies. Based on this, in the beginning we observed things like that, elephants in the room, talking about sexual harassment, yes? Some elephants in the room. Not seeing beyond numbers, it was already mentioned. We are really a feminized university as the others. We are what means gender equality? So not seeing beyond numbers. This false conflict between meritocracy and gender very present at the university, where at least at the University of Bucharest, you know, excellence and so on. If we will, what you want, impact factor and research of whatever, and or you want to deal with minorities and LGBT and how you call a person that is, you know, binary and so on. You know, you have to. This is a strategic choice, and we choose. Okay. A history of silencing, a lot of discussion, not seeing the connection between private and public. We ask academics and women also, what is happening in my family? Nothing to do with my career. When you start to train them, they understand. But this was the beginning. Not seeing the structural impediments and talking about conjunctural issues. Yes, at the faculty of political science, yes, there is a professor who is misogynist. Yes, in my faculty there is now a case. You know, it's a case, you know, it's just one case, it's not structural, let's not exaggerate and so on. I don't like to exaggerate also. And I don't like negative publicity only just to prove that you are fighting for gender equality. But there are some structural issues. Mystifying picture about the university, how you call it, peacocking, what? With a peacocking. Yeah, I think it's something in a way, I don't know if I got it right, but maybe it's the same with what we noticed here in terms of presenting the university in the interviews, you know. But I give up private sector to come to the university because here it's a safety place. And it's nice to work here, and we are educated, and it's flexibility. It's such an image, you know, maybe a little bit exaggerated. Okay. What are the challenges now along the way? This was in the beginning. We've been in the pandemic, post-pandemic, complicated really to implement projects, and it's not only for us. JEP need much more resources. We had some help from the university. For example, they offer a scholarship for a PhD student to be part of the team, and they support it. But if you want to do big things, you need much more money, and the university is not a rich one, at least our university. As I mentioned, lack of synergy among projects implemented. We said, you know, at our university, gender equality plan is not yet perceived as an opportunity, as a facility for all interested in the field. It seems like, you know, as a separate entity, and if I have something, I should keep it for myself. Why should I share? Why should they take, you know, take what we've done and promote as if it's theirs? There is, and probably we didn't succeed also in offering such a better way of networking. I don't know, but I feel this as being a lack. Too extensive, I already mentioned. We didn't succeed in getting to the STEAM community. We know it's a must, we know it's a problem. They don't want to come, they don't see the point, I don't know. We didn't succeed, it's difficult. Again, if you have suggestions, I will take note. And with a lot of resistance we met, I would say much more passive and implicit type of, as I said, you know, you need a gender equality plan, we will get money for our research projects, be it. No, we do not comment and anything, you know. No consistent feedback. We send monitoring reports each year, or, you know, on the JP group of experts, on the rectorate, or how we can. Almost no feedback. With, you know, what is this? Don't do this. This is too much. I mean, it's not comfortable. I would like to be, you know, to negotiate, to Yeah, so low interest, I said. In the beginning, the students were very hard to be involved. Now we succeed. I don't know how. Probably you need a little more time. But in the beginning, students were the most, not visible, not entering into the discussions. And I felt also women academics resistance too. Not willing to be part. I don't see how in Romania we don't have mentoring institution, I would say. So thanks a lot for what you'll do. I don't see how at the university you will do mentorate for women academics, They will say, I don't need, I am less than, I don't need such a thing. This, I think, will be the reaction. So here also it's, I'm not a feminist, but you know the concept, yes? And in terms of challenges for the future, how sustainability beyond European funds, how you will continue. I'm really worried about, not that without me everything will be destroyed, not at all. But how they will, because you need some support, I don't know this, and I think it's a problem. And I would say what type of strategic framing for the future in terms, as I asked in the break, should we be in a more inclusive frame, develop the next stage that we are now working on, or should we keep very strong the gender part of the gender equality plan? And here it's a lot of conceptual debate. There are quite a lot of voices saying gender should be kept, gender is about inclusion, gender is about intersectionality, don't lose the gender. And this is, in a way, the message I received also from the European Commission. So this could be, how you frame it, because the idea is that it should be much more about inclusivity. What kind of alliances? We need alliances. And they are not functioning for the moment. I like very much to see this kind of alliances that really are created through projects like this. And it's not the first time we met with the University of Constanţa, and even with FISD and Constanţa and Academy of Economic Studies. And this is also part of the Agency of Equal Opportunities that tried to create this kind of network to support the ones that are really doing gender equality plans. So I have more questions than answers. So looking forward for some hints. Don't ask me, I have questions for you, don't have questions for me. I'm joking. Yeah, so I think I give you some ideas about what is happening in the University of Bucharest in the context of Romania, in the global context, European context. I clarified everything for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That was fascinating. Do we have any questions?
I read recently that there will be a faculty of interdisciplinary studies at the University of Bucharest, because I wanted to ask, what do gender studies belong to? Rather to humanities, rather to social sciences, because there are these research centers of the university like ICU and so on. Thank you.
I could say what I consider is a situation at the University of Bucharest. We are doing both in terms of University of Bucharest has a MA program on gender studies. It's called with also a French component, and they are doing their job. And also I think at the University of Bucharest we are doing quite a lot of gender mainstreaming at the university. I mean, look at the sociology, yes? I'm not teaching as such genders, but in the program, MA program for advanced research in sociology, one of the best programs for MA, I have a course on gender equality, gender studies, so mainstreaming. Or another colleague of mine is doing, if it's not compulsory, is optional course for the second year on women, violence against women, yes? Irina Costache, yes, is doing this. and other colleagues, not from sociology, from philology, from history, some of them, are doing really within their courses, implementing gender issues and things like that. I know about this program. We have also a school for doctoral school for interdisciplinary research, quite recently opened, and also there I have a PhD doing interdisciplinary thesis with a gender dimension. This is something new created, and you asked me what is a position, how the university is seeing gender studies as being, I don't think they think they have a clear position in this sense, really. I don't know, I'm not in the management but I just tell you that gender is mainstreamed somehow in various disciplines. It could be better. I don't know, this is what I can say.
Do we have any further questions? No? Thank you very, very much, Professor Grunberg. You're absolutely brilliant. Thank you. So last but not least, we have our final keynote speaker, Professor Roxana Mironescu from Bucharest University of Economic Studies, and she's going to be talking to us about approaching gender equality plans in universities from an intercultural communication perspective.
Okay, I'm the last one, so it's kind of difficult to be the last one. I hope you're not very tired, but I'm going to try to do my best, especially that my presentation is really more theoretical, so even more complicated than that. All right, so I come from the Bucharest University of Economic Studies. For the Romanians in the room, that's ASE București. Okay, this is the name in English, so it's not the Academy of Economic Studies, which is the Romanian name, the University of Economic Studies. You can write to me on that address, email address. I just wanted to mention, it is in my presentation in the leaflet, that I coordinated the committee who did the gender equality plan for my university. We did it in 3 months. In 2022, because we needed to do it really fast. They didn't realize at the time that it's a requirement of the European Commission, so we were asked to do it really, really quickly. And then I coordinated the Committee for Gender Equality, Equity, Diversity and Inclusion for 14 months in 2022 and 2023. Okay, and here I was asked to write about something which I teach, intercultural communication. So my objectives are to really try to connect the two, to look at the relevance of intercultural communication into gender equality planning and implementation in all the components, from the research part to the evaluation and adjustment, and at the end to try to suggest some ways of connecting the two. Why gender equality plans? Just very briefly to summarize what has already been said this morning. First of all, there are some Romanian requirements. We weren't very aware of those Romanian requirements, so that was really interesting. Perhaps Ramona from the National Agency for Equal Opportunities between Women and Men can tell you that. So, of course, we have Law 202, which was passed by the Romanian Parliament in 2002, and that was part of the accession to the European Union. But then we had a government decision in 2019, which actually created the framework for the implementation of this law. So that's 17 years after. And also, there is what the European Commission representative explained this morning, the European Strategy for Gender Equality, but also the eligibility criterion under Horizon Europe. Just very briefly regarding the law in Romania, basically we are supposed to, any institution in Romania, any organization, is supposed, I mean, since 2002, we have been supposed to create action plans and to send them to the national agency, but of course this hasn't been happening. Why? Because there is no requirement, specific requirement, well, there is a requirement in the law, but there are no, what's the word here, not punishment, but no penalty. No penalty, no sanctions for not doing that. So of course people didn't do it. And the action plans needed to be sanctioned, evaluated and sanctioned by the agency. And I'm stealing the slide that was shown to us this morning concerning the eligibility criteria and the recommended content areas, just so that we are all on the same page. Why intercultural communication? Of course, you probably know that this concept has been created as far back as 1959 by anthropologist Edward T. Hall. And you have the definition, but I suppose as people in the back cannot see it, it deals with the study and practice of communication across cultural contexts. But what is important also for our topic today is that these contexts, cultural contexts, are international contexts, so referring to regions, but also, really importantly, they deal with internal cultures or subcultures. So that's, ethnicity, age, gender differences. And of course, very specifically, we're looking at those subcultures in the university environment, because the university environment is very, very diverse. And we've got some definitions of culture that we can look at, and all of them have this idea that culture is about like 10% visible and 90% invisible. So when we're talking about intercultural communication, we really need to look at the invisible part of culture. And this is the first one, culture like an iceberg, and of course you cannot see, and I cannot see, what is written there, but the surface of a culture deals with food and flags and festivals, so things that we actually see, and the deep culture refers to communication styles or attitudes towards elders, for example, or different rules or cooperation and so on. There are other models. For example, in Romania, we still teach Hofstede, Geert Hofstede, who's Dutch. And again, you can see the values as the at the core of the model that he presented. Or Trompenaars, with the basic assumptions that are implicit, again in the middle. Of course, as you probably know, I'm not going to get into the theories, but this is culture like an onion with layers that Hofstede proposes. If you want me to develop these ideas or these concepts, we can do that in the questions and answers, but section, but I don't know if you need me to. So again, with artifacts and products that are explicit, so things that we see from cultures, and the basic assumptions that are implicit, with norms and values in the middle. Norms how you should behave, and values how you sort of wish to behave in the middle. Of course, the situation gets more and more complicated for intercultural communication because we have globalization and global subcultures, and I mentioned here just some of them, which were imagined in a book by Berger and Huntington in 2002, and of course the Davos culture, which you probably know about, how important people meet up in Davos in Switzerland every year and think about global issues. But they are, what transcends from their ideas is democracy. It's a democratic culture, but also very individualistic, looking at the free market economy, emphasizing the free market economy and so on. And then what they call Yapi International, somehow, in the second word is in French, with young people aspiring to become part of the Davos culture, if you want. The faculty club culture, which is really interesting, which is us, in a nutshell. The academic elites worldwide who are, I suppose, have the same values throughout the world, and those values are usually progressive values. Not so much in Romania, I suppose, but generally in the world, they talk about feminism and gender equality, they talk about equity, the environment, or at least I hope so. The health ideology is another one, which was created by the faculty club culture and has gone into the corporate culture now, where you have corporate courses into healthy lifestyles and so on. So you have a mix of the faculty, inviting academics to teach them about diversity or how to eat healthily and so on. Again, not so much in Romania. And the last one that I mentioned here, the parochial cosmopolitans. So people who work for international organizations in the corporate world or NGOs, but who live in their own kind of bubble without actually meeting with the local cultures. And of course, people criticize those models quite a lot, and the main criticism comes from the fact, especially Hofstede and Trompenas, come from the fact that they're essentialist models and they re-emphasize stereotypes generally, because they think that people in a region or in a culture or subculture all behave in the same way. Differentialist model is the reverse, another proposal. The fact that we need to promote cultural differences rather than emphasize similarities between people. And that's where intercultural communication comes. And just really, really briefly, I want to do this kind of, I suppose, terminological distinctions between but also conceptual distinctions between cross-cultural, which is a comparison between different cultures, transcultural, which is meeting cultures, transcending them, intermingling of different peoples and cultures, and then multicultural, which is respecting rights to own culture and cultivating self-criticism and self-determination. And then intercultural, which is a deep understanding and respect for all cultures, while at the same time having this mutual exchange of ideas and cultural norms. So the intercultural communication part actually brings some respect for other cultures, but at the same time understanding your own culture and moving beyond it. Okay, so what are some of the proposals? Well, there is this accommodation theory. I don't know how familiar you are with this, which is that people have two types of ways of communicating with other cultures. One which deals with convergence, when you try to use your the other people's ideas, so you try to sometimes lower yourself at their level, or not lower, but put yourself in their shoes and try to converge with their ideas. And the other one is divergence, when you want to accentuate differences. Like, for example, you want to show off, you want to show that you're better than them, and they should follow you. And there is another concept of cultural agility, which has been mainly invented by Paola Caligiuri, and she talks about this ability, this agility rather, of people to move comfortably and effectively throughout cultures, in different cultures, where you can work or study and so on. So I wanted to give you or revise a few ideas so that we can come to this. Again, I don't know how familiar you are with this model of intercultural competence that Michael Byram devised in '97, but the cover of the book is from a revised and revisited version. And although he's British, he came up with French names. I don't know why, of savoirs, which are competencies for intercultural communication. And the first one, I put the English translation into brackets, and I'm going to try and explain them a little bit. So the first one is savoir, so it's basically just knowing other cultures. And then the next one is having a certain attitude, having a certain position towards this other cultures, and showing what is necessary for intercultural communication. And these, sorry, and these attitudes have to be, these attitudes are curiosity, openness, readiness, to suspend disbelief about other cultures and beliefs about one's own, and not assuming own beliefs are correct, which is the next step, obviously. And then savoir apprendre, which is finding out about cultures and also learning about them, but also interacting with them. Savoir comprendre, which is understanding and interpreting other cultures, to view something from another culture and interpret it to relate to your own. And finally, savoir s'engager, which is obvious, the critical awareness. So to be critical about your own culture in order to find out and grasp and internalize new information about other cultures. Okay, a very latest concept deals with mindful intercultural communication, and I try to underline some of the main ideas. Is understanding other cultures, but also adapting your communication style to achieve a meaningful and also mutually beneficial exchange, being aware of our own and others' behavior, and the most important one, to be able to shift your frame of reference to understand and also to experiment, to understand differences, and also to experiment, as it's, here is a quotation, right, with creative avenues of decision-making and problem-solving. So to be able to actually let yourself experiment, which is many steps forward. Okay, now how can we use intercultural communication in designing and implementing gender equality plans? And of course there are many objectives to gender equality plans, and they're obvious, but I only wanted to stress 3 of those. And the first one, which has been mentioned before, has to do with sustainability. We want our gender equality plan to be sustainable. We want it to last, as the previous speaker, Professor Grunberg, said earlier, we want it to last beyond our own involvement with it, maybe. So they, the Senate in my university, they voted the gender equality plan for the period 2023-2030. They were very generous. They wanted me to have to create this kind of, you know, a long-lasting plan. Okay, I will discuss over coffee on why I think this was. But how do we create this sustainability? And I think it was actually mentioned earlier, I think, by Mieke. We need, I'm sorry if I got your name wrong, Mieke. Okay, by creating ownership, right? So motivating people and making them believe that the gender equality plan is their own, so that, you know, all the what we call stakeholders in my university, so all the actors in the process have a say in it. And that's, you know, faculty, but also supporting staff, students at all levels, basically everybody, also the larger community, if you can. I mean, I tried to put this into I came up with this idea in the gender equality plan that our university should be, how do I call it, an anchor for the greater community. And I was thinking of the municipality of Bucharest and how we could participate in prides and do a lot of things with the community. I can see Laura laughing. Okay, or smiling at least. And it was adopted like that. All right, the second one would be sensitivity to a variety of gender identities. And by that, I think we should go beyond this heteronormative and binary gender model. I think we should look at, as I was saying last night, a gender, but also sex as a spectrum, and we should really try to aim to include everybody. I mean, we are like that, and our students are like that. Everybody in the university, I mean, there are people in the university who are beyond this binary gender model. And the third one, I think, a very important one is changing the organizational culture towards diversity and inclusion. And this is the most difficult one to do. I must confess that, well, it's difficult. Okay. I must confess that I haven't done it. I haven't been able to move towards it. So I thought, you know, we need to take some steps by integrating intercultural communication into this process. How are we going to do, you know, how are we going to actually integrate this? And I thought I said discuss, but discuss is really, you know, just maybe just a word, but it's actually really discuss and rediscuss and try to motivate people into creating this kind of ownership that I was talking about earlier. And, you know, anybody, university management, human rights departments, faculty, trade unions, students' organizations, representatives, and the larger community. And this is very difficult to do. At least in my university, it was impossible to do. People keep postponing you, they're very busy. What do you want to talk about? There's nothing to talk about. You just do your own thing and then we'll approve it. But I think by giving them maybe not what they expect, but, you know, remember convergence and remember agility. You need to try and find their own kind of speech and their own kind of level where you can make them understand what you're doing. Like, for example, I found that with university management, compliance with domestic and EU regulations works. Because they don't want to be seen as non-compliant. They want to be regarded as compliant. Also, obviously, in my university, economic benefits, because it's a criterion for accessing public and European funding. That worked really well, but also improving universities' reputation. You know, they just want to be seen that they are doing something. So it's an image kind of thing, if you want. With trade unions, enabling work-life balance in the university, at least in my university, that's what really worked, that made them want to participate. They talked a lot about flexible working, a lot about what could improve the work-life balance, you know, having different ways of dealing with parental leave, or different ways, like, for example, in terms of good practice in my university, we have faculty evaluations every 5 years in Romania, and they decided that for people who are on any kind of leave, not just parental leave, but any kind of leave, like sick leave, for example, for a period which is longer than a year, they can postpone this evaluation so that you get the time to actually do your points, right? Do your research, write your articles, and so on. So that worked with them. Attracting and retaining talents worked with the human resources, obviously. Effectiveness and efficiency of research with the research department, and creating better work and study environments worked really well with students' organizations. This is something that they value quite a lot, I think. And just some very brief ideas at the end. I think it's very, very important to contextualize. It has been said before, so in a way it's nice that I'm summarizing everything that has been said before today. It's very important to contextualize and adapt the gender equality plan. You just can't take the model that, you know, the European, or the recommendations of the European community, or just commission, sorry, or just have a look at other gender equality plans. You really need to look at what can work for your university. And you can do that by doing research. We did quantitative and qualitative research quite extensive research before actually designing the plan. So in quantitative research, we had surveys with students, with support staff, with the faculty and the management. And then in the qualitative one was short interviews, and also we tried some focus groups, but it didn't really work very well. Show flexibility. It doesn't always work the way you want it to work, so you need to really be flexible and try to adapt and try to move forward. Like if you're really rigid, it can't help. Ensure support, as I said earlier, by creating motivation at grassroots level. I think that's, perhaps in Romania, that's the most, maybe one of the most difficult things to do. Try to create support, at least in my university, I found that really difficult to do. I mean, trying to really get enough support from my colleagues, from the students, to actually move things forward. And yeah, it's a constant work and it's a constant battle, and I think you can only go on. Trying to counteract resistance. I mean, a lot of people are going to say, I mean, different people are going to say, it's a marginal issue. It concerns women only. We have it, so why do you want to come with other ideas? I mean, look at numbers. Like, for example, in my university, after our research, we showed that although we have more than 60% students, we have very few women deans, so at the time, in 2022. And after this latest round of elections in university, the president decided to appoint a lot of women deans. So obviously he stopped at the numerical or descriptive representation rather than looking at the substantial ones. Of course, we don't have gender equality because we have more women deans, but people just think that they managed to do this. Okay, so in order to counteract these things, I think you constantly need to be prepared. And like I used to have, laws and scientific arguments and data and a lot of, as you probably know, have them ready, always be prepared with graphs and statistics. If I don't have them, I just look them up online. Okay, this is what we used to do. And be prepared to face accusations, and I think this is the worst possible thing because it's very emotional. You're trying to do the best and then you get accusations. But of course we need to face them somehow. Okay, so that was my very brief presentation. I'm ready for questions if there are any.
Increase sustainability, you want to address the issue of cultural change. But I was wondering, what about the structural situation that you're in? What resources does the university put at your disposal to kind of pursue these actions that you're taking? You talk about combining it with research initiatives. Is it something that you do out of interest and own motivation, or do you have staff at your disposal? The university also suggests ways how to, include it, maybe if you're talking about university equality plans, include it at the faculty level and stuff like that. So what are the structural resources that are at your disposal?
At the moment, as I said, I'm no longer involved in an official position in my university, so I'm no longer coordinating this committee. Actually, I don't know if there is anybody. I tried to find this information. Before coming here, I couldn't find if they already appointed somebody else. When I was coordinating the committee, there were no resources at our disposal. I was very interested when earlier we heard about Trinity College and how you access data, and I was very enthusiastic about this presentation and how you managed to find data and so on. For us, it was very difficult to access data. One, because data doesn't exist, they don't have it, simply. segregated by gender, but secondly, because they don't want to have it. They don't want to put it at your disposal. They need an order from high up to tell them to put the data at your disposal. At least that's the situation that I have encountered. So I sometimes told them, I'm writing a report for the European Commission. The European Commission required it, which was half a lie, basically. They did require it because we were supposed to do this kind of research. And you're going to need it from now on. So you really need to do it. But like, for example, I was trying to find out the gender segregated data on projects, like project management, but also project participation. So in other words, I wanted to know how many men, women, other categories were involved in European projects or national projects. And it took more than a year to receive some data. Some. And they were always busy doing other things, and the lady was really, I mean, the person in charge, who happened to be a woman in the respective department, she was very nice, actually, and supportive in a way, but she kept saying, you know, I have other things to do, which I really do believe. You know, I believe that she had other things to do. So she really didn't have the time to deal with my stupid requests, you know. Or I was trying to find data concerning inclusiveness. Like, for example, in Romania, we have affirmative action at university admissions. So we have some categories of people who receive this kind of policies. For example, Roma students, or they call them Romanians from all over the world, so ethnic Romanians from other countries, or people with disabilities starting this year somehow. The other one is students from rural areas, so students who graduated high schools in rural areas. Okay, so I was trying to find things about them, not necessarily about their gender, but them as a category. Well, how many people every year? How many people do we admit in our university? And then what happens to them throughout the year? Do they get any support? Obviously, I knew they don't get any specific support. I mean, not even the people who belong to the disability categories, definitely. I mean, for example, my university, talking about disability, my university is a city university, meaning that we have different buildings throughout the center of Bucharest, and the timetable is made in such a way that we move from one period to the next, from a building to the next. If we don't move, the students move. And not all the buildings have ramps, and if they have ramps, they have steps immediately after the ramp. They don't have lifts, or if they have lifts, the lifts are too small and you can't get a chair inside, and so on. So all these people need, or you know, people who have eyesight problems. There is I mean, we talking about, you know, transparency and how the peacock. What was it? The peacock, I like this idea. I actually took a snapshot of it. I will try to remember it next time. So the peacock thing, we brag that we have a notice board in Braille, you know, the kind of language that people with eyesight problems have. But we have like one notice board in one building. What does that mean? Which is not updated anyway. Does that mean these people need to actually go to this building when we have like 5, 6 buildings throughout the city, and so on? So, you know, it's kind of difficult. So I couldn't access this data. They said that we don't have the data. And then somebody else said, well, you should go to each faculty, to each school, and try to find out. But so it's difficult. However, one thing we did have, we had some sort of financial support, in the sense that we received a sum of money, a monthly stipend, if you want, well, like a fixed sum of money all the members of the committee, including the student. She received like a student grant every month because I asked for it. So I said, okay, we're going to do this. And being an economics university, they do understand the value of money and how you work for money and so on. So they did pay, because I know that some other universities have not paid and are not paying these committees. You just do it, you know, for, I suppose, points, for whatever. That's why they didn't write it. Well, we did write it, but I think they didn't send it. They haven't sent it so far. And I kept telling them, we need to send it to the national agency. And in the end, I actually sent it to the national agency with the link and everything, but apparently it wasn't enough because it's supposed to be like officially sent with a stamp and signature of the university, so it was never taken into consideration. There was a question there. So I hope I answered the question. And also, I requested a representative of the faculty and a representative of the students for each of the schools. So I got 11, I think, or 12. So for each school, each faculty, I received one, like a liaison officer, if you want, somebody to liaise, because I could not access, that's the other thing, I could never access the students or the professors or the staff. I could never do that. So I needed to go through one of the vice presidents to be able to access them. So then I said, okay, we need a representative. So that I write to the representative and then it would cascade down. That was my thinking. But then, of course, the representative that I received was not necessarily the best person in a position to understand gender equality and so on. So, for example, from my school, the School of International Business and Economics, my representative, the faculty representative, was a supporter of the Coalition for the Family and the supporter of the referendum 2 years ago. So that you can imagine, you know, yeah, sorry.
Actually, your last sentence was the most enlightening because intercultural communication is something of international, at least as I learned it. It was a requirement to do the course to get an international competence certificate. What I wanted to say about the data, we were trying to write a project about research on mental health, which then was changed to well-being, because mental health, as you know, in Romania, you are not allowed to have any problems, otherwise you cannot work at universities. And it's a problem with, we were told that probably this project would have no success because universities would not like to have public this kind of data, maybe for the internal use, something like that. And gender issues are part of this research, mental health, because of course in cases sexual harassment, there are obvious mental health problems. Thank you.
Yes, and that's the other thing, that we were not allowed to mention any of the data from our research, reason for which I don't have exact data for you, so I'm not allowed to make them public or use them in any kind of research of our own, so we couldn't make them public.
Do we have any further questions? No? Thank you so much, Professor Marinescu. It was really interesting. Thank you very much. Okay. We're at the last part of our day today, so I'm going to hand over to Michaela Gindel, and she's going to talk about the panel discussion, which I think may be slightly short.
Hello, everybody. Please take a deep breath. It's the final part of this conference, of day one of this conference, and of course we have, half an hour time until it is 5 o'clock. We will finish with the conference on time. Don't be worried. And the panel talk is really not only slightly downsized, it's really a little bit more than slightly downsized, of course, in coordination with all those panelists. So what we decided to do is to ask the two panelists who have not been able to raise their voice until now. We heard already Eileen, we heard Marike, we heard Laura and Roxana now in depth, but we didn't have the possibility to hear two experts who are here. And I would like to start with Ainur Gursoy. I hope I pronounced it correctly. Please come to me, Ainur. Ainur is from the Women's Department representative and coordinator, and a member of the International Women's Association. And I think we heard in the course of this day a lot about, on the one hand, intersectionality. Katerina mentioned it in the morning. Many of the experts and speakers mentioned the importance and this kind of important shift towards intersectionality. And I think this is kind of a concept that is predominantly in our minds, but the really difficult thing is how to bring it down to earth, how bring intersectionality down to earth in gender equality measures. And the other thing is that Ainur can perfectly connect to you, Roxana, because what Ainur will focus on, and I'm so sorry for that, really briefly, is which steps does it need to promote mentoring in a multicultural environment? Yes? So, the floor is yours. Please, I know.
Thank you so much. Actually, I prepared two presentations. Now we don't have a time.
You can combine those.
Yes, I try to combine. Yes, thank you so much. Hello, everybody. Yes, mentor. To promote mentorships programs in the multicultural educational environment, it is very important because students in the education, students or university or everywhere, business life, to adaptate to business life or education life. So mentorships programs supports from policies, from financial, as a financial. Actually, I researched about how is important mentorships in the multicultural environment for students, because I research about this area, how can affect to students from the diverse culture in the multicultural environment for academic success, for personal development. Multicultural include also gender equality, because this gender can to address to intersection of cultural diversity to be effective to these people, and also partnership is very important between NGOs, universities, and educational institution and local community. To collaboration, and also it is very important mentorships, mentors receive training with cultural sensitivity with these students or with these women. We have a studies as an NGO. We support women, empowering women. We are organizing some panels, conferences, seminars to support the women. Also, we are organizing some projects. We are finding some mentor women to help to other children with disadvantage. And also these projects motivated these women, especially these women coming from diverse culture. So these projects also, these women can adapt integration to other country. This via these projects. So it is very important to raise the awareness about the gender equality with panels, seminars. We are organizing panels every year at New York, accredited to the United Nations. We are finding as NGOs, leaders, women, and we are bringing it there. And we are discussing about issues of the women. And after we provide, it is very important, networking within women who is leaders or who is activities, because this is it's very important factor, raise awareness. As NGOs, we are doing something, and we have a lot of courses, workshops. We are using art workshops. For example, for children, we are using art workshops, cooking workshops, and language courses. Both of them, it's useful for these projects. Thank you so much. I try to discuss this because I have a presentation is widely, and I think reading this I am doing this presentation. So sorry for this.
No, everything fine, everything fine. Thank you so much, Ainur. Thank you so much. And as I understood, you emphasized partnership, and you emphasized networking, of course, in diverse intercultural communities, and networking of young or younger female women with female leaders, if I understood you correctly. And I think this connects perfect to our network, to the Human Net and to the mentoring network, because these are also things that we are emphasizing really in detail. So.
Also, this is networking between you.
Yeah.
It's very important to raise awareness.
Do you have questions for Ainur?
I think this is a very important topic that you were pointing out, and I was wondering if you know of any university which takes the advantage to ask the students with the multicultural background to educate their teachers about the necessities of their multicultural background, because I think this is missing at many universities, the awareness for these differences, and that teachers, educators, professors should learn about this from the students with the multicultural background that they are teaching. Do you know anything about a project like that? Because that would interest me.
I don't know about these projects, but we need this situation, because we understand better backgrounds, social backgrounds. So mentors or professors should be sensitive for cultural diversity. So maybe educate training, receiving training about this area, and can solve problems, or we can raise awareness about this gender equality or multicultural education, more successful education we can provide. Yes.
Thank you so much. A very good point. That kind of intersectional reverse mentoring, focusing on the intersection between gender and cultural background. I think a very good idea. Yeah.
And also we can discuss the not just gender intersection. Maybe this person has another. For example, I am Muslims but with hijab, or I am black people but maybe LGBT. These studies include all these factors.
Yes, of course. Thank you. Thank you so much. And last but not least, there you are, Claudia. Please come to me. I would like to very, very warmly welcome Claudia Christina Bergesan. Yeah. Is it Bergesan? Bergesan. Yeah, Bergesan. Hello, Claudia. Thank you so much for joining us. Claudia is she holds the leadership and is the coordinator of the Professional Association of Experts in Equal Opportunities in Romania. So perfect. And I wanted to ask, and there have been some indications throughout the whole day giving us a little bit an idea that cases of sexual harassment and maybe gender-based violence, but sexual harassment is something that is discussed at the moment and dealt with at the moment on a quite, I don't know, controversial level at the Romanian universities. So what I wanted to, I wanted to ask you to elaborate on is how do you rate the importance of the implementation of specific non-discriminatory policies, plans or measures in order to prevent moral or sexual abuses or discriminatory actions? Maybe you could focus a little bit on this, I have to admit really absolutely broad question, but I think we didn't want to close this conference without tackling the issue of sexual harassment and gender-based violence, for it is also one of the recommended areas of the Gender Equality Plan framework. So please, Claudia, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, and thank you for invitation. Hello, everyone. I can speak a little briefly from my point of view of a researcher, because I finished my PhD in Salamanca in Spain. I also have a book there in equal opportunities between men and women in labor force in European Union. Coming back in Romania, I started to work to do something for the people, not in a university, but I hope maybe sometimes, someday. But I'm a trainer in harassment and discriminatory policies, trying to promote equal opportunities at work. I can speak from point of view of researcher, of practitioner, and also for a point of view of a person who deals every day with victims and also with aggressors, or possible aggressors, as I like to say, because you don't know. It's not okay to point a person till you don't know the truth, really. And of course there are some proofs and everything. So speaking about sexual harassment in universities, well, we face harassment at work, in university, all institutions, and everywhere. So it's not only in university. It's a phenomenon. It's like it's quite a form of violence. Unfortunately, what I observed, that a lot of men, but also women, because there are also women who are aggressors, sexual aggressors. I was very curious to find out, but yes, there are. they don't know. It's very important to inform, to educate, and to sensibilize, of course. Not only the law enforcement, the law framework helps a lot, the procedures, helps a lot to make this networking between universities, institutions, ministers. We have the support of National Agency of Equal Opportunities. It should be a reform in Romania, in this, and I think not only Romania, but starting from the UK code and practice that they have in universities. I'm sorry, I have a lot of things to say, but it's very short time, so I'm trying to go. Okay, it's not a problem. It's about procedure, it's about being informed, it's about being educated, and it's about codes, implementing codes that should be reviewed, about transparency, about the role of the management of the institution, the leadership. They play a very important role in this team, in this line. I recommend that in universities should be more women in leadership, because where you have a committee of ethics, where you have more men and less women, of course, harassment, or gender equality, it's just another step to go forward. So let's take it there. So we have on a paper, but nobody talks. As our colleagues from university said, okay, you have to sign that you take knowledge of that code, so it's okay. But no, it should be an obliged that the leadership, the management of the institution should inform, should be a rule in that. So when, and this rule should start with the management, with the leadership, with the managers, with the director of departments, from up to down, to say, because if not, and the support of institutions, ONGs, and of course also multinational and companies. The companies nowadays in Romania are very interested. Of course, I'm doing a little parallel, in improving their work balance, well-being, because we have also law that requires that. So in universities should also be that, and it's also a problem that university face. There are also teachers, professors that they are harassed. Not only students are being harassed by teachers, so it's also reverse. So also the teachers should be protected. It should be a very clear, I see like this code, procedure, complaints, a committee. Maybe each university should have a department, not anti-harassment department. Directly, short, and with all, like a code. Who violates the code? So, and of course the code that should be all the time being reviewed, informed, trainings, campaigns, and everything. Of course, from one training, from one inform, you can't change the mentalities, but step by step. So from this, we are 40 people here, 50 people, I don't know exactly. If 2 people are aware about this and take action, because we should take action, and also we should involve men. Because if you apart men, what we are doing is creating more extremism. We should create a balance between men and women. I observed that a lot of men, when I started to speak about what's equal opportunities, it's not like exclusion of men. you know? And they said, oh, yeah, I have a wife, I have a daughter, I have a sister. Yes, it's true. My wife tries to be a chief department, and she's very good. You know, change a little the paradigm of thinking, of our thinking, and implementing codes. And of course, there are sexual harassments everywhere. I won't go in these subjects. In Romania now it's very important, but briefly I wanted just to raise the awareness of being informed, and also it's very important, don't speak without knowing what it's a term. There are a lot of definitions: discrimination, abuse, harassment. I hear all the time, he harassed me. What did he did to you? And when he said, oh, he just shouted at me, the people don't know exactly what does it mean. Being harassed, being discriminated, the criteria, they are protected by law, like racial, nationality, age, disability, and so on. So harassment, sexual harassment, it's about men, women, it's about people with disability, it's about every kind of, I don't know, from here, if I'm asking you, I think all of us, we have something, a criteria. I don't know, maybe you have the illness, someone has a disability, someone it's another nationality, and so on. So we all are a whole. If we are a common good. Starting from that, we should improve. Of course, we speak today and tomorrow we'll leave it. But step by step, only by reinforcing and trying to not only legal framework, but trying to action. So, thank you very much. Sorry.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Claudia, for this. Just stay a little bit with us for, I don't know, saying this really very brilliant final words. Stay in action. I think this is what we do. This is what we should keep on doing. And I think you pointed it out very clearly. It needs commitment, top leadership commitment. It needs procedure, and it needs awareness. And being clear about what is going on, about what is harassment, what is mobbing, what is gender-based violence, and also this. I think this is this enormous attractive thing about this intersectionality concept, because we all have these intersections in us. We are all diverse, and we are not just men and women and belonging to a certain gender or age. So this is all us. So thank you so much. Do you have any questions? I think we have time for 1 or 2 questions or remarks for Claudia. Please raise your hands if you have so.
Thank you very much. I am now more interested in hearing maybe about the plans of your agency or organization. So what is ahead of you now? What would you like to focus on in the immediate future?
It's a very young organization. From only for some months we put the basis, but we want to. The most important thing it's that it's the first association, professional association of experts in equal opportunities. Of course, there were some we have some little discussions, because nowadays in Romania, for example, a lot of people, we have a framework, a legal law that oblige all the companies to have a legal expert, an expert in equal opportunities, and to implement anti-harassment policies or anti-discrimination, so on. So, starting from that, I tried to as a person and also as an association, to try to, by trainings, by workshops, and inform and research. Of course, we are a small team for now, but with a lot of effort and dedication, we try to go on this direction on research, and also to help people to being like consultancy, but the most important thing is to inform, to educate, and to make the people aware of their rights, but also obligations in this kind of in this area. Of course, we try now to find some funds and everything. Of course, the budget, without budget, like you said, we can't do it. So, yeah, but it's step by step. So we try just, and also what I would like to do, I'm telling you now for the first time, I would love to, because it was in Romania. Of course, I am a PhD in this team, a PhD in equal opportunities, PhD in law, but the problem is that it's very short. The program, I'm training adult person, of course, and a lot of them, they are coming, and I'm trying to do my best to specialize them, but they need more. And we have the master in equal in gender in university, but they don't have time because the company comes and said, well, you need now, in 2 months we have to implement the plan, we need an expert, so what we are doing. So now, right now, I have a lot of phones and speak with a lot of people because, okay, we are doing the course, but we have limited the time, so they want to learn, but it's a short time. So I would like to have also for this to change a little the role of the expert in equal opportunities as a profession. This will be, and as training, because are some people who are not prepared. I'm trying my best, but. And I understand. Of course, I did also, like my colleague Roxana said, about, she reminded us about the mindful. During pandemic, I specialized myself because I had online courses, but there were all the people were very stressed. Stress at work, stress about another problem. So I did MBSR in Spain also, because I speak Spanish better than Romania. Okay, so I try to improve myself all the time because when you work with discrimination, with violence, because discrimination is a form of violence, harassment is a form of violence, you need a preparation, like you need to be more aware, to know how the attitude you have to come to face. It's not only the theory of, you said, this is discrimination, this is harassment, no. So I had some challenges to do, so I'm improving all the time. So I would like to make some changes in this, in profession, to improve, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Claudia, for sharing with us, and hopefully you will be with us in the evening with the dinner, so you can connect to Claudia, and I think you have so much more to say, and as well, Ainur. Thank you so much for the both of you. Thank you. And now I'm going to hand over to Christina. No? You. I'm going to hand over to Christina.
Just a moment, please stay here. So we are coming very slowly to the end, and Christina will have her last word. And I would like just to add one sentence. This wonderful day would not have possible without the great and very diverse organizational team, so consisting of Dagmar Hoppel, please. University of Stuttgart, Germany, Michaela Gindel, Vienna, Austria, Evelyn Rusdier, University Freiburg, Germany, Emma Mark, a free coach, UK. And also a great help was Anna Rusdier, Munich, Germany. So please come near, so in order we were able to make a picture. And keep smiling. So big applause to our organizational team. It was a very hard 12 months, but we are happy that you liked it.
What a fantastic day we had today. A long day, yes, but quite amazing day. So we had these amazing speakers. We heard amazing presentations and slides. We heard about theory. We also acknowledged what practice is. We understood mentoring and how we can improve mentoring, and also how we can implement mentoring, not just in Romania, but also in your countries, in your universities, how you can make it better. And this is fabulous. I would like now to thank you all for your patience from the morning up to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It's quite huge. However, I'm happy that you got focused, you got a lot of new information, new knowledge. So this is a great thing. So thank you for today. We will meet tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.